I'm going to call this as let.js. Now I'd like to work with the same variable names that we chose previously. Now what I can do is I can go ahead and declare a variable using the let keyword, using straightforward let first name, and I can assign a value to it. So I'll just say honey. So here we've gone ahead, we've declared, and we have assigned a value to our variable. A variable declared with the let keyword, they allow us to reassign the value to it. I can first say first name, and I can now give it another name. I can say something like John. So what we've done here is we have done a reassignment. It's one word, reassign. Let me console log and see the outputs of both of them. I'll say console.log of first name. Of the second time also I'm doing console.log of the first name. When I save this file and when I run the file, I'll say node let.js. You can see that the first time the value of my first name was Ani. And then I reassigned a value to that particular variable. I had created a variable and I reassigned a value to that particular variable. And this time the value of it was John. A variable declared with the let keyword, it allows us to do this. But if I try to redeclare the variable with the same name, how do I know I'm redeclaring? I'm using the keyword let. That's like redeclaring a variable. When I redeclare a variable with the same name, that's the first name is the name of the variable. And if I try to assign some kind of a value to it, I'll say first name is equal to Jack. Let me run this file. You can see that it does not work the way it was happening with var. Var just recreated that variable and it was able to continue. But when you're working with let, you can see that it throws a syntax error. It says identifier first name has already been declared. So what happens is in your program, if I declare a variable once, I cannot reuse the same name in the program or within a scope. There are two types of scopes, right? There's function scope and block scope. So right now, in my program, if I declare a variable with the let keyword, I cannot redeclare it one more time. I can continue to reassign values to it as many number of times as I want, but it's just that I cannot go ahead and reuse this. Now, what is the big advantage? You need to keep in mind that while you're working in companies, in a project, there'll be multiple people who will be working on the same project. There'll be 5 developers or 10 developers or more working on the same project. What used to happen in the past was if you had used the variable var, accidentally, a colleague of yours or another developer would have come and overridden the value of your variable, which introduced a lot of bugs during runtime. And a feature like this with the let keyword, it avoids that particular bug. Let me create a new file. I'll call this as const.js. I'll create a variable called as first name and assign a value to it. I'll say const first name is equal to Ani. If I go on to reassign a value to it, variable declared as a constant, it will not allow me to do it. If I say first name is equal to John, let me clear this terminal window. I will now run the command node const.js. You can see that it throws me an error. It says it's a type error, assignment to a constant variable. So you need to keep in mind that a variable declared with a constant, we cannot reassign a value to it. If I try to do that, it will throw me an error. Now it's a good thing because in a program, there would be variables that you would create whose value you do not want to change. Previously, what used to happen was there was no way of safeguarding our variable. Accidentally, we could have gone ahead and overridden the value of a variable, or we could have assigned a new value to our variable. But now what has happened is we now have a way of ensuring that the value of a variable is not being overridden. Similarly, if I try to redeclare a variable with the same name, keep in mind, if you are referring to a variable and assigning a value to it, it's reassignment. Redeclaration is when you use the keyword either var, let, or const. So at this point of time, I now have gone ahead and redeclared a variable with the same name. Let me just copy the error message. I will add it as a comment so that I know what's going to happen. 2 forward slashes are your single line comment in JavaScript. So when I try to go ahead and rerun the file, you can see that I'm now going to get another syntax error where it says that first name has already been declared. Now this is the difference. This is for redeclaration. If I try to do that, I get this particular error. So this primarily is the difference, two of the differences with respect to reassignment and redeclaration. In the next video, we're going to be looking at in terms of hoisting. What is hoisting? And we had learned previously that var variable gets hoisted, let and const do not get hoisted. More on that in the next video.